Alright, Shalom, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Hakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, and a sincere Shalom to Akim, who be pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and in sincerity. As always, I'll start off by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, the real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians and West Africans, and our descendants on down. But this doesn't just apply to the people I just mentioned, it also applies to anybody who may look like any of the other nations. But if your seed line by your father goes back to the man in the Bible named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, because your nationality is determined by the lineage of your fathers, pertaining to Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. And Israel has been scattered amongst all nations, so therefore we're going to look like all peoples in these last days. So you're going to get what would be classed as Israelite foreigners who may look like, say for example, an Edomite or an Ammonite or a Moabite or an Ishmaelite or an Elamite, but ultimately if their nationality or their bloodline goes back, their seed line goes back by their father to the man named Israel, then they too are Israelites no matter what they look like. So in this lesson I'm going to talk about another instance of raw meat being served and some of the things that can come as a direct result of this. So, because in the last lesson I did a video about a man who had 700 tapeworms in his body after eating undercooked pork. Now the scriptures say you ain't supposed to be eating pork any damn way, but you know, that's just one of the things that can happen to you if you consume that meat, especially if it's undercooked. You get these tapeworms in it. So here's another article. It says, absolutely fuming, mum's horror at finding daughter too had been served undercooked mince in cottage pie at play centre. Now this article was published just 2 days ago on the 30th of November. It says an outraged aunt has slammed a play centre after discovering it was serving undercooked meat to children. Chloe Bradwell, 17, and older sister Lauren were disgusted when they found out Tumble's Play Centre in Mossley, Greater Manchester had served cottage pie with pink mince to the younger sister and to Lauren's daughter. Chloe Bladwell left and sister Lauren were disgusted when they found out the children had been served undercooked pink mince at the play centre. The pair said, there's the picture of that nasty shit, man. The pair said the 2-year-olds had already eaten half of the meal, most of the meal, because the undercooked meat was hidden among the mash and gravy. 2 children, both 2 years old, had already eaten most of the meal, which was covered in mash and gravy, hiding the undercooked meat inside. Chloe and her older sister Lauren complained to the play centre and later took to social media to warn other parents about their experience. The bosses of Tumbles admitted the food wasn't cooked as much as we would have liked it to have been. Fucking Esau, man. Esau loves his raw meat. Claiming they've dealt with the problem to make sure it doesn't happen again. Chloe from Ashton posted on Facebook absolutely fuming and so disgusted in the staff and especially the management. The girls had eaten more than half of their dinner when Lauren realised it was pink as it was covered in mash and gravy, absolutely fuming. She claims despite complaining at the time, the manager didn't approach them and they had not determined to speak to him, a claim he denied. So let me read this again. She claims despite complaining at the time, the manager didn't approach them and they had not demanded to speak to him, a claim he denies. The 17-year-old told the Manchester Evening News, "You just wouldn't expect a play centre to be serving something like that, but it was when we complained their attitudes was terrible. That's why I took it to social media to make other parents aware." The manager of Tumbles, who didn't want to be named, said the pair had accepted his apology at the time, along with the refund and replacement dishes. He said, "We have identified the problem and put measures in place to prevent it from happening again. We've admitted that we made a mistake and have apologised. It was an oversight and we have changed some of the methods we use in the kitchen." Having been working at the play centre since it opened 5 years ago, the manager said the venue had a 5-star rating from health and hygiene and said he had full confidence in his staff. He continued, "We have an excellent record. We serve more than 3,000 people a year and have very rarely had any problems. We were last inspected in May and there were no issues raised. I have full confidence in my kitchen staff and in myself, and they have the full management support from me. Here's the article. It says, tumbles place into Mosley, absolutely fuming. I'm so disgusted in the staff, especially the management. I came with my older sister and brought 2 babies who are both two, and they have been given uncooked mincemeat in their meals that was meant to be cottage pie. The girls had eaten one half of the dinner when Lauren realised it was pink and was covered in mash and gravy. We told a member of staff who brought it to take it back. The manager did not, it says Seymour. Chloe from Ashton took to social media with her experience to warn parents about the play centre. That's the end of the article. But essentially, you're not supposed to be eating undercooked meat, man. Let me get Genesis 25 again. Same precept I want to bring out that I did in the other lesson I did. So this is in the nature of Edomites to eat undercooked meat. They love this stuff, and it's one of their identifying characteristics, because every nation has a particular set of characteristics that defines them, which is how you know who's who in terms of biblical nationalities. So Esau is the progenitor of the Edomites, which you use so-called white people for the most part who are running around Earth today. And if you look at their diet and their cuisine, who are the ones that are eating these raw steaks or steaks rare and all this kind of shit? It's mostly Edomites. Now, obviously, you get the other nations copying the ways of Esau, but that's one huge red flag to spot in an Edomite, you know, the way they cook their meat. So, let me read this. It says, Genesis 25 and 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom, because Edom means red. And that's twofold, because first of all, he ate the red pottage, which contained undercooked meat with the blood in it. And secondly, Esau's blood shows forth through his skin because he's got the biblical plague of leprosy. So there's 2 reasons why it's called red there. And let me read it again. Genesis 25 and 30. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came in from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said unto Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. Bread and lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Yep. Now Esau is a profane person. Is that Malachi 4 and 1 and 4? Let me see if that's Malachi 1 and 4. But before I get that, I've got another precept I want to get. This is Daniel chapter 4 and verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and demanded by the word of the holy ones to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he giveth to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. Let me read that again, because Esau's in rulership now, but he's the lowest of all the people on the earth. He's the most base, vile person. He's at the lowest, but currently he's in rulership right now, which is why you've got so much wickedness on the earth, because the basest of men is in the seat of rulership. Whereas when the Israelites are set back up in their seat of rulership, you're going to have nothing but righteousness on the earth, because there's 2 different vibrations. Esau being on the left-hand side vibration, under the workings of the spiritual demon Satan, and the Israelites under the workings of the right hand, the Most High, under Yahushua. which is the one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So let's read this again. This is Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. There you go. Violent in the earth. No, I don't want that one. I want Malachi 1 and 4. Let's get Malachi 1 and 4. Malachi. Let me read Malachi 1 through 4. So this is the burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains. Laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. There you go. So, Esau's the basest of men, viler than the earth. Job 30. This is a prophecy about you, so-called Edomites. It says, Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose I'm getting all these voice notes. Salakia. Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men, they cried after them as a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men, and they were viler than the earth. So, it's in the nature of you Edomites to eat this raw, undercooked meat, because you people are base people and viler than the earth. So I think the point's been made. I'm going to close the lesson here. So with that, giving all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Chakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and a sincere shalom to you Archium, who will be pushing this word around the world in faith and in truth and in sincerity. Until the next time I move to do another lesson, Lord willing, I'll say shalom.